Are you aspiring to ace the UPSC CSE? Commence your transformational journey with the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation Course 2025. Empower your exam preparation through cutting-edge educational technology and personalized learning experiences with tech-enabled learning. Dive into concepts with animations, videos, and interactive tools designed for maximum understanding and retention. Personalized student portal. Access live classes, recorded sessions, and extensive academic resources, all at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Enroll now and step closer to accomplishing your IAS dream. With the Vision IAS Delhi GS Foundation Course 2025, batches starting from 31st August, 5 p.m., 17th September, 9 a.m., 24th September, 1 p.m., 30th September, 5 p.m.
Good afternoon, people. So, my name is Smriti Shah, and that's how you start the session. You just need to introduce. Okay, now the pressure has increased. But anyway, so we'll start with the analysis of Indian society. Now, before we start with the analysis, you have gone through the paper. There are some of you who might have written also, and there might be some of you who have not written but have gone through the paper. See, if I have to just do the overall analysis, I would never say that the paper was easy or difficult, because that is unnecessary putting pressure on the aspirant. If you are able to answer, it is easy. If you're not able to answer, then it is difficult. So let's not categorize as easy or difficult. One observation, the questions have significantly increased. To be very honest, there were 9 questions from society. There were 5 questions from geography. But we have shifted 2 questions in geography. That is, one is migration, question number 5, and question number 7 with respect to demographic winter. So we have incorporated that as a part of human geography, and we have shifted it in the geography portion. So even after shifting, there are 7 questions from society. Usually the trend is 6 questions from history, 8 questions from geography, and 6 questions from society. But this year, the trend has changed. But there we need to understand one thing. We should never see society as a separate section, there is another section involved, that is social justice, which is there in GS paper 2. So if you notice, this year in GS paper 2, there are only 2 questions from social justice. That's because remaining 2 has shifted to GS paper 1. So overall, the weightage remains the same. The only difference is the questions on social justice has been asked in GS paper 1. The question with respect to NGOs have been asked in GS paper 1 rather than being asked in GS paper 2. तो उतना चलता है. That is how the papers are made. So आप ये नहीं कह सकते मैं शाम के पेपर के लिए prepared था but सुबह नहीं लिख पाऊंगा आंसर. So that should not be the thing. If you are prepared with it. So first observation, if I just go by GS paper 1, there are 7 questions from society. The overall weightage has increased. But if you ask me to tell you that overall what is my observation about the paper, one thing about the paper that I have observed is comparatively it is more doable as compared to previous 2-3 years. Because previous 2-3 years, जो concepts पूछे थे, they were very specific. And if you do not know that specific concept, then it becomes a challenge. For example, if you do not know what is the meaning of neoliberal economy, then automatically your answer would be wrong. If you do not know what are sects, if you do not know cryptocurrency, if you do not know gig economy, then answering those questions can become a challenge. This year, paper comparatively to previous year was more doable, but that does not guarantee that we can fetch marks. These two things are very different. One, paper seems to be doable, and second, whether you are fetching marks or not. So my third observation is that you have to practice answer writing. In every class, I have been telling the students कि आपके templates तैयार होने चाहिए. Today, I am not here to discuss what more needs to be written. Because what more ka to, there is no end to it. I am here largely to discuss if this is the question, whatever content is available to us in the classroom, then how that content has to be utilized in order to write a decent answer. That has to be. And more refined answers, I'm already, as usual, as I usually give the answers for the previous year paper. So this year also I'm providing you the answers. That is a different thing. But given the specific time limit, how to improve upon the presentation, and with whatever content is available to us, how we can write a decent answer which can fetch you decent marks. Because again, this year, society becomes the deciding factor. If you do not write decent answers to society questions, crossing 100 mark limit in GS paper 1 will become a challenge. Now, the fourth observation, that is basically that if you look at the broad themes which has been asked this year, it remains the same. I have always told women issue is their favorite topic. Either they'll ask you the essay or they will ask you the question in GS. That has happened. They haven't asked you the essay, they have asked you the GS question. So women is their specific topic. Second is the question on marginalized community. Although we always tell that the chances of asking the question, for example, tribals is very high. For example, person with disability is very high. So now, rather than asking a specific question, they asked you a general question. That with an intention of ensuring equity and social justice, affirmative actions have been taken, but they are not giving you the desired result. Do you understand that the question's difficulty level has reduced now? You don't have to write the answer with respect to one marginalized community. You can write the answer with respect to all the possible marginalized community. तो आपको बहुत specific content नहीं चाहिए था. What you required was the headings. If you have the broad headings, you have the broad templates, you can easily answer this question. Did you get my point? Similarly, the question on regionalism, communalism, secularism, that is their topic. एक ना एक टॉपिक से किसी ना किसी साल क्वेश्चन आता है. Either it will be regionalism, or it will be communalism, or it will be secularism. This year they have asked secularism in GS paper 2. तो ये थोड़ा बहुत shifting चलता रहेगा, but the question would be asked. Is it making sense? ठीक है. Similarly, globalization, urbanization, their favorite topic. Every year you get a question. Diversity is their favorite topic. Every year you get a question. Now, there are two topics which I always say in the class is very important, that is caste and religion. Now, how they ask the question on caste and religion, that may change, but you will realize the answer more or less remains the same, that we will show just now. Is this making sense for everyone? So on this note, we will start with our discussion. Okay? We'll start with the 10 markers, to be very precise. The first 10 marker that we have, distinguish between gender equality, equity, and women's empowerment. That's first question. Why is it important to take gender concerns into account in program design and implementation? It's a 10 marker. The first thing that we do in any question which has subparts is basically to create in your subconscious mind how much marks you will allocate. You can allocate 4:6. You can allocate 5 and 5. You can allocate 3 and 7. That's your choice, because they have not defined how much marks to be allocated. And why do you do that? That will tell you how much space you have to allocate for which subpart of the question. So now it is your choice. Is that making sense for everyone? Okay. Now, before we proceed with this, whenever we discuss any answer, I have been saying this time and again, every answer has introduction. Every answer has to have a linking statement. There will be a body and followed by conclusion. Now, why do I mention? Everyone knows that there is no rocket science. Why do we do this is, it gives you a clarity that there are different ways of writing the introduction. The first way is, whatever is the keyword, define that. Let us suppose the keyword is marriage, or let us say it is something to do with caste, or let us say it is something to do with globalization. I'm just giving you an example. So it can be started with the definition. Another important aspect with which you can start your answer is a premise. Premise basically means the background, that based on which a particular question might be asked by UPSC. It does not mean that exactly you should know the reason. वो UPSC जाने उन्होंने क्यों पूछा, ठीक है? और उसमें हम पढ़ेंगे भी नहीं कि अरे इस पेज पे उस दिन इस आर्टिकल में ये न्यूज आई थी इसलिए उन्होंने पूछा. हो सकता है उन्होंने कभी वो आर्टिकल पढ़ा ही ना हो. So the point here is, we will not delve into that. कब क्या क्यों हुआ वो हमें नहीं जानना, ठीक? So there might be some premise which according to you might be the reason why they have asked you the question. Or it can be, you can establish the significance of the topic. That what is the significance of that topic and why that topic is important from the perspective of Indian society. If not this, then you can use a data, you can use any current example or the event. There are different ways, and if in your question there is a term given in the context, तो जिसके भी context में the question has been asked, that becomes your introduction. हम कभी कभी question में होता है ना, in the context, in the light, with respect to, in the backdrop of. So whichever context, respect, backdrop the question is asked, automatically that becomes your introduction. That's how you can introduce the answer. I'm going to discuss this structure once and then I'll take up the questions. The second is the linking statement. See, for me, this is very important, especially when it is an analytical question. Otherwise, it is very difficult for us to maintain the coherence and the flow in the answer. The easier way out is either you give me a subheading, which tells me exactly what you are going to write now, or you give me some statement, which, if you ask me in simple words, is nothing but paraphrasing the question in simple words or in a crisp manner. उससे क्या होगा? Your introduction will be linked to the demand of the question and the coherence will automatically flow. That is how you do it. Then in the body, depending upon what are the parts, what are the dimensions you will address. Now comes the question with respect to conclusion. Even if it is a 10 marker, introduction and conclusion specifically should be mentioned in your answer. Otherwise, it seems that the answer is not properly structured. Let's not commit that error. अब दो चीजें देखो. This year you will notice that the questions many a times are asked on the way forward only. For example, they have asked with respect to socio-economic development issues, there has to be a collaboration. Did you get my point? They have already answered that there has to be the collaboration. In this case, आप way forward नहीं दे सकते. Question ही way forward पे है. ठीक है? So here at Max, what you can do is draw the overall inference that if this collaboration happens successfully, it will help us to address the socio-economic issues. At the same time, it will also enable us to achieve sustainable development goals. ये मेरा क्या है? Inference है. After writing my entire answer, what is my inference? That is one way of doing it. Other way, अगर suppose करो फिर से कुछ ऐसा आया, so in this case you can mention the efforts of government. फिर से let us suppose there is some question which is talking about the way forward. Already it is given कि what needs to be done. तो यहां पर आप further way forward नहीं देते हो. आप ये बताते हो fine we agree to this and keeping that in mind the government is making certain efforts. But let us suppose the question is asked on the problem. For example, despite the policies for affirmative action, the result is not being desired. In that case, it becomes a so depending upon the nature of the question, your conclusion undergoes a change. Is it making sense? And hardly अब ऐसा लगेगा अरे मैम ये भी लिखना एक एक लाइन में, बस आपको ये सामने वाले को दिखाना है, look, I have written my conclusion. Because anyway, that's not been asked in the question. That is something which you are adding from your side in order to give a proper structure to your answer. Is this very clear for everyone? Okay. Let's start with the questions. Now, the first part of the question says distinguish. I have to introduce my answer. I was thinking what is the minimum possible introduction which I can give. So I thought let's establish the significance of the three topics. That what is gender equality, equity and women empowerment? What are they going to ensure and why they are important in our society? Because this will ensure fairness, justice, autonomy in the society. जरूरी थोड़ा ना आप fairness, justice आपको जो लिखना हो आप लिख दो. इतना ethics तो पढ़ ही लिया है कि कुछ और आता हो या नहीं आता हो, ये टर्म्स तो सभी को आते होंगे. ठीक है, तो ऑटोनॉमी, फेयरनेस एंड जस्टिस वुड बी एस्टैब्लिश्ड. दैट इज व्हाई दीज थ्री टॉपिक्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट. अब यहां पे मैंने सोचा कि पेपर तो इतना सिंपल है ना, तो कोई इतनी डिस्टिंग्विश लिखा है, हाउ शुड आई ऐड. इनफैक्ट आई रिमेंबर एक किसी क्लास में मैंने कहा होगा दैट वन ऑफ माई फ्रेंड टोल्ड मी जस्ट डू समथिंग विच गिव्स यू दैट वन एक्स्ट्रा mark, and people do have a confusion that was 7 minutes mein. How can you do that one thing which can add some extra mark? If you remember, in every class I tell you, compare, contrast, distinguish. There has to be a tabular representation. Make a table. There are three concepts here: gender equality, equity and empowerment. And whenever you make a table, you should have the parameters based on which you are going to distinguish. I have decided in my mind 5 marker for the first question, 5 marker for the second question. That's my choice. You can totally differ. If I have to distinguish 3 concepts, what are the 2 basic things that you will do in order to distinguish? Explain the concept, that is one. और अपनी इसी बात को justify करने के लिए what will you do? See, you know the answer. So table just require two things. One, you give the definition of all the three, and then you give an example to justify your definition. That's what completes your distinguishing feature. Just by giving the definition, you will not be able to distinguish. You are defining, you are not distinguishing. You have to give example to justify your argument. So when you have to distinguish, very briefly, we have added 3 points. जरूरत नहीं है, 2 points बहुत थे. Just start with the definition. अब क्लास में कोई ऐसा है जिसने पॉलिटी नहीं पढ़ी हो? पॉलिटी पढ़ी है? इक्वालिटी और इक्विटी पता है? बस. So equality is nothing but equal treatment with respect to right, responsibility and opportunity. And what is equity? Fair treatment, keeping in mind the historical and social inequalities और injustice. और women empowerment की तो UN की definition न जाने मैंने कितनी बार करा दी है. Sense of self worth, अब तो UN वाले भी कह रहे होंगे आप ही पढ़ा दीजिए. So sense of self worth, access to resources, autonomy, control over your life, leadership, skill. अब बस you were supposed to give one example. So equality is equal pay for both men and women. Equity is special provisions for women, and empowerment, let us say some traineeship program in order to develop that leadership skill so that they can rise in the hierarchy of the organization. Ab samajh aaya what is distinguish? That one extra mark is nothing but a table, or let us say that one extra mark is nothing but an example. And that is how you write how to distinguish between three: equality, equity and empowerment. Baat khatam. Is that very clear? Now let's move to the next part. वो ये कह रहे हैं, why is it important to incorporate gender concerns? Now if you remember, मैं क्यों बार बार लिंक कर रही हूँ? I'll tell you one thing. मैं लिंक इसलिए नहीं करती that you want to, I want to tell you that no हमने पढ़ा था, नहीं. हम लिंक इसलिए करते हैं आपको बताने के लिए जितना आपने पढ़ा था उससे मैनेज हो सकता है. ठीक है? We study a topic called stratification, and we said gender is a basis of stratification. So can I say gender-based stratification is one of the feature of Indian society? And that's what make incorporating gender concerns absolutely indispensable. Because based on gender, some people have better access to resource and opportunity as compared to others. And in this context, it can be women also, it can be transgender as well. तो पूरे आंसर में एक बार कहीं ट्रांसजेंडर जरूर मेंशन कर देना, टू गिव एन इंप्रेशन दैट विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू जेंडर यू आर नॉट ओनली कंसिडरिंग विमेन, यू आर ऑल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट द ट्रांसजेंडर्स. इज दिस मेकिंग सेंस? नाउ वी हैव टू टॉक अबाउट कि व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ इनकॉर्पोरेटिंग जेंडर कंसर्न. आंसर आप देंगे, कैसे देंगे? एक क्लास या कई ऐसी क्लासेस हैं जहां मैंने हमेशा बोला कि प्रोस्पेक्ट इंप्लीकेशन हम कैसे पढ़ते हैं? इंडिविजुअल लेवल, सोसाइटल लेवल, नेशनल लेवल. अब आंसर देखो दिमाग में आया कि नहीं आया? जेंडर कंसर्न्स अगर पॉलिसी डिजाइन में है, व्हाट वुड बी द बेनिफिट एट द इंडिविजुअल लेवल? Potential would be harnessed. ठीक है? So basically at individual level, let us suppose there will be reduction in alienation, because the opportunities would be given to realize your complete potential. It will ensure the individual's empowerment, and also it will ensure that poverty has been alleviated. लिख सकते? ठीक. Similarly, societal level पे क्या होगा? Indicators, social indicators of the society will improve. There are some pathologies which are existing, for example, patriarchy, gender inequality, that can be addressed. There exist prejudices, stereotype with respect to, let us say, transgenders, that can also be corrected. अब national level पे क्या होगा? Better economic growth. और क्या होगा? Female labor force participation will increase, that will lead to economic growth. मैंने एक क्लास में बताया था कि नेशनल लेवल पे 4 ही पॉइंट्स होते हैं. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ होती है, जिसकी वजह से डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड आता है, जिसकी वजह से सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स अचीव हो जाते हैं, एंड ओवरऑल इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ इज इंश्योर्ड. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? किसको नहीं आता ये आंसर? द पॉइंट हियर इज, अगर हेडिंग्स याद हैं तो आंसर राइटिंग बिकम्स अ केक वॉक. Is it making sense? तो यहां पे दूसरा डायग्राम डलता है. Why is it important to incorporate gender concerns? Because it has prospects at individual level, societal level, and national level. And then you can add the points here. Is it making sense for everyone? That's one way of writing. It is not the only way of writing. You can again start with, for example, आपको नहीं सूझा ये, तो ओवरऑल जो आपने पॉइंट्स दिए थे आप वही लिख देना. इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ होगा, पॉवर्टी इरेडिकेशन होगा, सोशल स्टेबिलिटी आएगी. दीज आर जनरल पॉइंट्स. मैं क्यों बोलती हूं हेडिंग लिखने के लिए? कभी पॉइंट्स रिपीट नहीं होंगे, जोर नहीं लगेगा दिमाग पे. अगर आपको पता है मुझे इंडिविजुअल लेवल के 2 पॉइंट्स लिखने, आई हैव टू राइट 2 पॉइंट्स एट सोसाइटल लेवल, आई हैव टू राइट 2 पॉइंट्स एट नेशनल लेवल. द प्रेशर ऑन योर thought process will automatically reduce. Always prepare the templates. This I have been saying since ages, and it will come very handy, especially in this year's paper. Then grassroots level governance. एक मुझे आज भी याद है, मैंने घाट पतीला का एग्जाम्पल दिया था with respect to Swachh Bharat mission, that there was Malbika Khatua, she was the BDO officer, and how she ensured successful implementation of Swachh Bharat mission. So not only it will help you economically, socially, but also politically and administratively. तो अब सेकंड टेम्पलेट बनता है, अगर इंडिविजुअल, सोसाइटल, नेशनल नहीं करना तो सोशल, पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिकल, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव. Done. Again, your points are ready. Is that very clear for everyone? Now notice one thing in this writing pattern. This writing pattern is known as KEE. You write the keyword, you explain, you give example. इसके 2 फायदे हैं. If you write the keyword, it doesn't look like as if you have written bullet points. It seems that there are small paragraphs which are written. तो वो जो casual attitude होता है आंसर राइटिंग में, that is now looking more academic. So this is KEE. And once you write the keyword, there is no need to read the explanation. Just by writing the keyword or reading the keyword, the marks can be given. And the moment you write example, the credibility to your argument has already been established. I am not saying what happens in UPSC. I'm telling you my personal experience. When I look at the script, and if it is written like this, I read just 2 things. One is the keyword, other is the example. And if it is making sense with whatever the demand of the question, the marks are allotted and more marks are given because you have made my work easier. Reading your answer now is comfortable because just by reading the keyword, I exactly know what you have written. And finally, we can conclude. Already दिया हुआ था that how it is important, क्योंकि otherwise हम way forward क्या देते? Gender concern should be incorporated. That is the question. So now you have to mention what government has done in order to incorporate gender concerns in policy design and implementation. So here you have written about the constitutional provision. आप और भी दे सकते थे. You would have written some statutory act. You could have written some policy that is totally dependent on you. But write some government effort which has been done in order to incorporate gender concerns in policy design and implementation. Is the first answer clear for everyone? Will everyone be able to write the answer? ठीक है. Next question. Intercaste marriages between caste which have socio-economic parity have increased to some extent. That's the keyword in the question. But this is less true of inter-religious marriages discussed. I still remember caste mein there is a statement which we discuss that caste has certain attributes. One of the attribute is caste endogamy, which is based on the principle of purity and pollution. Then we said, Andre Bete made a statement, India's destiny is not cast in stone. That means caste in our context is losing the significance. And caste is losing the significance, for example, due to industrialization, urbanization, there is secular pattern of living, there is modern value system. As a result, rather than being concerned about the ritual hierarchy, we are more concerned about the secular hierarchy. Matlab, if you belong to the same caste, but that person is not economically stable, you would not prefer to get married into that community. So in societies where education, economic status, secular hierarchy is more preferable, the chances of intercaste marriages are very high. So that was the observation of Andre Bete. And I told that in one of the Hindu newspaper years back, this article was given, and the very next day, Gail Omvidit refuted the article. Sir, where is intercaste marriages happening? It is only to some extent. So hardly, if you go by NFHS का report, it फिर भी ये तो कहता है 12.6. अगर मैं Indian Human Development Survey को quote करूं, तो only 5% of the marriages are intercaste. Remaining 95% of the sample size, they prefer to marry within their subcaste, not even caste, within their subcaste. So basically, intercaste marriages have increased, but only to very some extent. तो इस question के दो parts थे. So in such questions, wherever there is about increase, decrease, it is always advisable start with the data. इन्होंने तो फिर भी दे दिया 2.6% is interreligious. Pew Research Center की रिपोर्ट कहती है only 1% of the marriages are interfaith. So basically interfaith marriages are not happening. Such answers you can write anything. अब suppose करो किसी ने शुरू कर दिया caste की definition से, कोई relevance है? नहीं. इस क्वेश्चन में आपको डिसाइड करना है that given those ways of introducing, which is the best way to introduce, and the best way to introduce is a data. और ऐसा नहीं है कि आपके पास डेटा नहीं है. You have already studied the data. So once you have mentioned the data, then we are going to talk about the reasons which are responsible for increase in intercaste marriages. और इसमें कोई rocket science नहीं. Urbanization हुआ, secular pattern of living आया, people were not concerned about each other's caste. So if you have socio-economic parity, the chances of intercaste marriages is very high. Second most important factor, not only urbanization, the attitude is also undergoing a change. Youth is becoming more secularized. They are becoming more secularized with respect to three things. One is marriage, second is accommodation, and third is commensality. मतलब खाना खाते वक्त नहीं देखते किसके साथ खा रहे हैं, पीजी हॉस्टल क्लास में बैठते वक्त नहीं देखते किसके साथ बैठे हैं. एंड इफ यू हैव द सोशो इकोनॉमिक पैरिटी, देन यू ऑल्सो डोंट थिंक अबाउट द कास्ट ऑफ द person when you are choosing to get married. So there is change in the attitude which is also happening. Third, more than ritual hierarchy, it is the secular hierarchy which is becoming more prevalent. And most importantly, government is also encouraging intercaste marriages. Because as our father of constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said that if you want to dilute the control of caste in context of Indian society, one of the means can be encouraging intercaste marriages. So various government schemes are there which actually gives you monetary incentive if you indulge in intercaste marriages. Overall development, there are some areas which are socio-economically developed, and there the potential of intercaste marriages is there. But again, I'll say it is a very rare phenomena. Because even educated people prefer to get married within their own caste. So only to some extent this has happened. But now tell me why interfaith marriages are not happening?
Completing the syllabus without proper knowledge of current affairs will not take you far in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Regulate and transform your preparation with complete coverage of news of relevance. Get a concrete hold of current affairs for UPSC CSE with Vision IS Monthly Current Affairs Revision Program starting from 20th September at 5 p.m. The program is your guide to get comprehensive news on one platform sourced through relevant resources such as The Hindu, Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB, Yojana and others. Enroll for complete coverage of current affairs including Indian polity and constitution, economy, international relations, and more. Comprehensive assessment of preparation through MCQs and mains-oriented questions. Expert support through personalized mentoring and online doubt resolution.
Sacred aspect of it, huh? ओके, ठीक है. There exists religion based diversity, but वो तो caste diversity भी exist करती है.
बट फेमिलियरिटी नहीं है ना, जैसे एक एज अ हिंदू मुझे पता है कि कौन शाक्त सेक्ट का है, कौन वैष्णव है, कौन शैव है, लेकिन मुसलमान या क्रिश्चियन के लिए
Absolutely.
लेके
Lack of cultural integration which results into development of stereotypes. Because we are not aware about each other's culture, there exist some stereotypes and prejudices which encourages conflict between different religious community. Brilliantly answered. See, you know the answer. मैं तो सिर्फ आपको बता रही हूँ, you know the answer. Any other point that you want to add? Exactly, ghettoization. There is a fear of social ostracization, social exclusion. That is also one of the major aspects. Also, it can be mentioned that passage of anti-conversion laws in some of the states, that one for the purpose of marry cannot convert to other religion. That is also discouraging interfaith marriages. But most important is the legal aspect, that is Special Marriage Act, under which if you want to get married, you have to notify your marriage 1 month in advance. You have to publish that notice. And since the period given is 30 days, there is a possibility that you might be subjected to harassment or disapproval by that section of the community which is not agreeing to interfaith marriages. Is that very clear? तो इस पे एक नॉर्मल सी बात बताती हूँ. कभी कभी नहीं होता, you get a notification और आजकल वो रील्स आ जाती हैं. So there was some stand-up comedian. तो वो हो रहा था, वो जो नहीं होता, you are addressing crowd work. That's a term that is used if you've heard. So there was, I don't remember the name, but that person asked, is there anyone from intercaste or interfaith marriage? So there were 2 people, so they said yes, interfaith marriage. So then he asked, was there any problem? So they said, nahi, not much. बोलते धमकी वमकी तो आई होगी. तो there was people said कि नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. लगा था but ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. तो he actually got a very shocking मतलब expression कि ये कैसे possible है. फिर धीरे से पूछता है, तुम लोग अमीर वमीर हो गया? So देखो, मैं एक पॉइंट कहना चाहती हूँ कि अब ये नहीं कहूंगी मैं कि इस रील को देखकर यूपीएससी ने ये सवाल पूछा होगा कि wherever there is socio-economic parity, the chances of it. तो मैं ऐसा कुछ नहीं, मैं आपको सिर्फ एक बात बता रही हूँ. Society questions are made about society. That's your society. You just have to observe and you have to write the answer. But did you get the point? What we are trying to say? Is this question answerable for all of us? ठीक है?
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम.
हाँ जी.
मैम जैसे क्वेश्चन में मेंशन किया है ओनली टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट इंटरकास्ट, तो क्या इस नुआंस को भी तो हम इनकॉर्पोरेट कर सकते हैं?
हाँ, तभी तो हमने डेटा दिया.
ऑनर किलिंग्स जैसे होती हैं इंटरकास्ट की वजह से, तो ये भी मेंशन कर सकते हैं.
एग्जैक्टली, तभी हम बताएंगे इट इज ओनली टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट. डेटा देंगे हम यहाँ पर. वी विल एड्रेस दैट दीज आर द फैक्टर्स that intercaste marriages have increased. However, it is a rare phenomena because caste notions based on purity and pollution is still holding relevance. बिल्कुल, इतना लिखकर आप छोड़ सकते हो, ठीक है. और अगर चाहो मैनिफेस्टेशन देना तो ब्रैकेट में लिख सकते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कास्ट बेस्ड ऑस्ट्रेसाइजेशन और टू एन एक्सट्रीम लिमिट इट कैन ऑल्सो टेक अ फॉर्म ऑफ ऑनर किलिंग. बस क्लियर है? ठीक, चलो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. हाँ जी. अरे अब मेंशन करने को तो तुम कुछ भी कर लो. 10 नंबर का सवाल है यार, क्यों प्राण ले रहे हो क्वेश्चन की? मतलब इट्स जस्ट अ 10 मार्कर, यू जस्ट हैव टू राइट 1.5 sides. ठीक है? ओके, ऑन अ वेरी सीरियस नोट, राइट व्हाट इज एब्सोल्युटली important, and then if the space is still left, then add more content to it. Is it making sense for everyone? Next, in dealing with socio-economic issues of development, what kind of collaboration between government, NGOs and private sector would be most productive? Ideally, the question is from GS paper 2. It falls under the ambit of governance. But even if they have asked 2 घंटे पहले, it shouldn't make much difference. ठीक है? So we still should be able to answer. Now, when I looked at the question, I again saw the first thing which comes to my mind, what is the most apt way of introducing? To be very honest, that's the first thing which strikes. The moment I saw in dealing with socio-economic issues of development, I remembered I have some data available. Whether it is data with respect to poverty, it is data with respect to inequality, it is data with respect to gender aspect, or it is, let us say, with respect to rural urban divide. Socio-economic issues हैं क्या? Class based, region based, gender based, यही issues हैं broadly. तो do I have some data to introduce my answer? And you definitely will have data. क्या आपको ये नहीं पता इस वक्त poverty कितनी है? Don't you know inequality is on the rise? Oxfam report says. Don't you remember global gender gap report में India's ranking? Or haven't you studied Asar का latest report? So you have the data with you. Make sure you introduce the answer with the data. Otherwise और कुछ बचता नहीं है फिर. How will you explain socio-economic issues of development? फिर तो आप लिखते ही रह जाओगे. The best way is use a data. यहाँ पे एक और काम कर सकते हो, एक टेबल बना सकते हो. टेबल में एक तरफ लिख दो पॉवर्टी, इनइक्वालिटी, रूरल अर्बन डिवाइड, जेंडर इनइक्वालिटी, और दूसरी तरफ डेटा दे दो. विजिबिलिटी ऑफ योर आंसर इंक्रीजेस. दैट्स द ओनली थिंग. और कोई रीजन नहीं है वो टेबल बनाने का, बट यू कैन मेक अ टेबल हियर. नाउ इट सेज कि तीनों में क्या रिलेशन है. जब उन्होंने कहा ना कोलैबोरेशन, एक्चुअली यही डायग्राम मेरे दिमाग में आया कि मुझे तीन चीजों का कोलैबोरेशन दिखाना है. अब इसमें और पॉसिबल नहीं हो रहा था. यहां पर आप इसको मार्क करते और फिर यहां पे आप लिखते ओवरऑल डेवलपमेंट, क्योंकि जब तीनों आपस में कोलैबोरेट करेंगे अल्टीमेटली व्हाट यू विल गेट इज development. So that could have been added. Now I was thinking how to attempt, I am telling you my psyche while I was attempting this question. First thing I thought, if these three have to collaborate, that means they have to use their strength. Government मुझे क्या provide कर सकता है? Resource, policies, broader infrastructure. Private sector क्या दे सकता है? Job दे सकता है, इन्वेस्टमेंट दे सकता है, टेक्नोलॉजी दे सकता है, स्किल डेवलपमेंट भी दे सकता है, और मार्केट बेस्ड सोल्यूशन दे सकता है. एनजीओ मुझे क्या देगा? ग्रास रूट मोबिलाइजेशन, मॉनिटरिंग ऑफ द इंप्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ पॉलिसीज, अकाउंटेबिलिटी, कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग ऑफ द लोकल पीपल. तो मैंने तीनों के स्ट्रेंथ उठा लिए. अब मेरे को फर्स्ट चीज दिमाग में आई, डू आई हैव एन एग्जाम्पल टू जस्टिफाई माई पॉइंट? So then I thought, let us talk about, let us say, I'm just giving you an example, Swachh Bharat Mission. Swachh Bharat Mission का framework किसने दिया? गवर्नमेंट ने. बहुत सारी ऐसी प्राइवेट कंपनीज है ना जो सपोर्ट कर रही हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर, तो उनका डोमेक्स टॉयलेट अकेडमी कॉन्सेप्ट है. उसमें क्या होता है, दे आर बेसिकली कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग इन एस्टैब्लिशिंग द टॉयलेट्स एंड इंप्रूविंग द सैनिटेशन इन द सोसाइटी. डू आई हैव एनी एग्जाम्पल ऑफ एनजीओ? सुलभ इंटरनेशनल. So that example justifies my point. Similarly, let us say Poshan Abhiyan. The framework has been provided by government. There are various private companies. For example, Nestle. उनका एक प्रोजेक्ट है जागृति प्रोजेक्ट. उसमें क्या होता है, वो फूड न्यूट्रिशनल सप्लीमेंट्स प्रोवाइड कराते हैं प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन एंड लैक्टेटिंग मदर. और अगर हम कोई एनजीओ की बात करें, पोषण अभियान डीलिंग विद चिल्ड्रन, तो फॉर एग्जांपल केयर इंडिया वगैरह जो एनजीओज हैं, दे आर वर्किंग फॉर द अपलिफ्टमेंट ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन. सो अगेन यू हैव एन एग्जाम्पल विच जस्टिफाइज दिस. अब बात आती है, ये एग्जाम्पल मिलेंगे कहाँ और हमें कैसे पता होगा कि ये एग्जाम्पल हमें तैयार करने हैं? तो ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, आई टोल्ड यू दिस इज फ्रॉम पेपर 2. पेपर 2 में whenever you prepare, we always say you prepare constitutional provision, you prepare statutory act, you prepare the policies, you prepare the agency. At the same time, you also prepare innovative examples. So in innovative example, SHG groups, civil society initiative, NGOs if they are working, private sector contribution, that has to be prepared. But सबके लिए prepare करना है? Absolutely not. कितना तैयार करोगे? कुछ basic topics है. Health, education, skill development, sanitation, these are basic topics which have to be prepared. And where these topics fall? In the ambit of GS paper 2. So you just have to prepare with respect to health, education, skill development. हो गए social infrastructure? Then you have sanitation. These are basic examples which you anyway prepare. You just have to know that where it has to be written. Is it making sense? ठीक है. तो अब आपको समझ आ रहा है हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? Is the diagram making sense here? Why we have incorporated the diagram? But let's go back to the question again. What kind of collaboration? मैंने एग्जाम्पल देके बता दिया व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कोलैबोरेशन, बट स्टिल आई हैव टू राइट समथिंग. आई एम जनरली आस्किंग यू व्हाट काइंड ऑफ कोलैबोरेशन विल यू प्रेफर? कैसे कोलैबोरेट किया? मैंने जो अभी एग्जाम्पल दिया, कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट वाज द बेसिक आइडिया बिहाइंड दैट कोलैबोरेशन? डेटा शेयरिंग, ठीक है. तो एक कॉमन विजन और हम इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच करके डेटा शेयरिंग कैन बी डन. आई टेक दिस पॉइंट. और कुछ? स्किल डेवलपमेंट. एक्चुअली प्राइवेट सेक्टर कैन हेल्प यू इन डेवलपिंग द स्किल्स. स्किल डेवलपमेंट वाला पॉइंट. और कैसे कोलैबोरेट करें? पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप, दैट बिकम्स अनदर पॉइंट. व्हाट एल्स? Resource mobilization, absolutely. NGOs can also help you in resource mobilization, and not only resource mobilization, engagement of the community. See, you guys have the answer. यही है, मजाक थोड़ी ना चल रहा है, यही आंसर है.
एक्सक्यूज मी मैम.
हाँ जी.
मैम जैसे गवर्नमेंट ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस प्रमोट कर सकती है, इससे प्राइवेट सेक्टर डेवलप
द पॉलिसीज ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट.
और जैसे आसर का रिपोर्ट आया था,
प्रथम एनजीओ, एब्सोल्युटली.
अब उसके बेस पे गवर्नमेंट लेजिस्लेशन लेके आ सकती है.
एब्सोल्युटली, यस.
और फंड्स भी प्रोवाइड कर सकती है और एनजीओस को.
हाँ, बिल्कुल. सो यू हैव रिसोर्स मोबिलाइजेशन. समबडी टॉक्ड अबाउट डेटा, आई गेस, डेटा शेयरिंग. You are actually giving the example of the point somebody said, na, data sharing. So Pratham NGO conducting the survey, providing the data, and data based or evidence based policy making. So chances of success of policy would be very high. Is that very clear? So this is how public private partnership, you can have a common vision. Somebody talked about skill development, that is nothing but capacity building. Then mobilization of the resources, then community engagement, and overall promoting what is known as sustainability. Is it making sense for everyone? Is it clear? लेकिन आप हर एक चीज नोटिस करना, जो भी पॉइंट देंगे उसका एग्जाम्पल, ठीक है. I have added some examples here which I was discussing. Swachh Bharat mission. Second, I think Poshan Abhiyan hoga. There is one more example which I have added. You can add any example that you want. Let us say Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. You can also add educational example. You can also add infrastructural example. That's totally your call. But agar kahin faso ki example kaise soche? Health, education, skill development, sanitation. It comes very handy. That is actually the most important intervention which is required. Is it making sense for everyone? And finally, I told you, ये तो question ही way forward पे है, that collaboration is required. So you just write the inference that if this collaboration takes place, then chances of achievement of sustainable development goals would be very high. Huh? Absolutely, yes. You can start with the data, you can start with any chart, you can start with any diagram. In fact, try to make every answer different from what you have written. और अगर आपको ये लग रहा है ना मैम अभी कहना बहुत आसान है, एग्जाम में याद नहीं आता, ये सुन सुन के मैं थक गई, मैं तो थक गई रे बाबा, सुन सुन. So the what I'm just trying to tell you here is, तो इतने साल से हम बोल तो रहे हैं कि पहले से तैयारी करके रखो कि अगर क्वेश्चन ऐसा होगा तो डेटा से शुरू करेंगे, ऐसा होगा तो डायग्राम से शुरू करेंगे, ऐसा क्वेश्चन होगा तो फिर टेबल बनाएंगे. ये तो फिर प्रैक्टिस, रोज वो वीकली टेस्ट, मिनी टेस्ट, मॉक टेस्ट, अभ्यास, वो सब क्यों कराते हैं? इसीलिए तो कराते हैं. और फिर आप ये नहीं कह सकते मैम कहना आसान है, पॉसिबल नहीं. तो देखो यार, अगर पॉसिबल नहीं तो सिलेक्शन तो फिर उन्हीं का हो रहा है जो कर रहे हैं. फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर है. आप टॉपर की स्क्रिप्ट उठा के देख लो, अगर ऐसा नहीं किया है और फिर भी सिलेक्शन है तो मोस्टली दिखेगा नहीं, मतलब ऐसा होगा नहीं. बट इफ यू लुक एट द टॉपर स्क्रिप्ट यू विल रियलाइज दैट ब्रॉडली यू हैव टू बी डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द भीड़. अदरवाइज अगर आप क्वेश्चंस देखो, दे आर नॉट दैट डिफिकल्ट दैट यू कांट आंसर. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? कैन वी प्रोसीड? ये रीजनलिज्म में फर्स्ट थिंग हम डिस्कस करते हैं. जब रीजनलिज्म का फ्लो चार्ट बनाते हैं, then we talk about regional diversity and what are the problems associated with regionalism. Anyway, what is regional disparity? How does it differ from diversity? How serious is the issue of regional disparity in India? Again, I'll say it's a 15 marker. Create the marks division in your mind, that how much you have to write where. Now see, if you notice, it has 3 parts. It is a 15 marker. That does not mean that unnecessary आप regional disparity or diversity पे बहुत elaborate करोगे, but still you have to write a considerable portion. So you have to define what is regional disparity. You have to talk about that unequal distribution, wealth, opportunity, resources, development. That is what results into disparity. And we clearly know no two region can be equally same. There will always be a difference. There is some region where you have better infrastructure, better job opportunity, high standard of living. Whereas there are some sectors or some region where you will find poverty, lack of basic infrastructure, poor prospects of jobs. And that is what creates the imbalance or inequality. अब आप सोचोगे ये कहाँ से याद आए, कहाँ? तो पूरा माइग्रेशन इसी पर है कि 2 रीजन इक्वली डेवलप नहीं होते हैं. देयर इज सम रीजन विच इज डेस्टिनेशन, देयर इज सम रीजन विच आर सोर्स, एंड द बेसिक रीजन व्हाई सम आर डेस्टिनेशन एंड सम आर सोर्स इज देयर एग्जिस्ट डिस्पैरिटी. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? गिव एग्जांपल्स. सोर्स रीजन कौन से हैं और डेस्टिनेशन रीजन कौन से हैं? नाउ हाउ इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम डाइवर्सिटी. तो जब हम डाइवर्सिटी टॉपिक स्टार्ट करते हैं, द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट वी स्टडी, डाइवर्सिटी रेफर्स टू कलेक्टिव डिफरेंसेस व्हिच मार्क्स वन ग्रुप डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अनदर. It can be based on language, it can be based on caste, religion, ethnicity, region, it can be any factor. But the basic difference, यहाँ पे पूछा है, how does it differ? तो differ बताना पड़ेगा that disparity is a negatively connoted term. Diversity is a positively connoted term. Diversity shows the richness of the culture. It shows the variety in the heritage, whereas disparity shows inequality and imbalance. Is that very clear? यहाँ से एक और point आता है और उसको link करेंगे हम last question में. That diversity per se is not the problem, because diversity is a positively connoted term. It actually displays the rich tapestry of our Indian cultural heritage. But when along with diversity there is disparity, then diversity is used as a basis to mobilize the masses. तो घूम फिर के वही बात, बाप बड़ा ना भैया, सबसे बड़ा रुपया. So the point here is that is regional disparity and how it differs from diversity. Now you need to tell me, कुछ भी इसमें difficult था? कुछ ऐसा था जो आप नहीं लिख सकते थे? देखो, सोसाइटी की क्लासेस होनी पड़ेंगी उसके लिए, या खुद से भी अगर सोसाइटी कर रहे हो तो रीजनलिज्म अगर पढ़ा होगा, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड द डेफिनेशंस. हाउ सीरियस इज द इशू? यहां पे क्या लिखे? डेटा. बिल्कुल, डेटा से शुरू करो, सीवियरिटी बताओ, लेकिन यहां रुको मत, कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस भी तो बताओ. डेटा देकर मैंने बताया, आप सोचो आप कि हम डेटा कहां दे सकते हैं? इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़िए, इकोनॉमिक्स में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पढ़ते हो, वो हाईवे कनेक्टिविटी वगैरह सब पढ़ते हो, इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट स्टेट वाइज रीजन वाइज क्या हो रहा है सब पढ़ते हो. लेकिन अब सोसाइटी में क्वेश्चन पूछा है तो कैसे दिमाग चलेगा? सोसाइटी में रीजनलिज्म हैज डिफरेंट मैनिफेस्टेशन. इंटर स्टेट, इंट्रा स्टेट, सुप्रा स्टेट. ठीक है, तीनों से एक एक एग्जाम्पल उठा लो. Supra state, southern states are contributing more to the GDP of India as compared to the northern states. So supra state दिख गया. Similarly, if I talk about the highway, the infrastructural gap, entire Maharashtra has more highways as compared to all the northeastern states if combined together. So again there is a supra state, a group of state is involved, and क्योंकि highways उतने develop नहीं होते हैं, there is lack of proper delivery of services and goods, which is responsible for underdevelopment of northeastern region. Is it making sense? Similarly, you can talk about health and education. Similarly, you can talk about urban-rural divide. So urban-rural divide can be an example of intra-state. Similarly, you can also have examples of sub-regionalism, जैसे विदर्भ की डिमांड, सौराष्ट्र की डिमांड, बोडोलैंड की डिमांड. There are different demands which are emerging. तो ये हमें सिर्फ डेटा दे रहा है, एग्जाम्पल दे रहा है, ये सीवियरिटी नहीं बता रहा है. सीवियरिटी तब पता चलेगी जब बेस्ड ऑन दिस देयर आर 3 फैक्टर्स: इकोनॉमिक कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस, social consequences and political consequences. then your answer is completed. कि आप खुद सोचो क्या political consequences होंगे. Exactly, demand for separate state, more autonomy. Sometimes it can also result into threatening, exactly, secession, threatening the territorial integrity of the country. There can also be social unrest, internal security challenges can also be created. And most importantly, skewed migration will always remain. Migration is not a problem. The problem is there exists regional disparity. So whichever region is growing, the entire crowd is migrating to that region. So no matter how much this region develops, the population pressure is always there. तो अगर skewed migration का problem है, तो then son of soil के chances ज़्यादा हैं, natives versus migrants के chances ज़्यादा हैं, then most importantly governance proper नहीं हो सकती. क्योंकि अगर population pressure build up होता रहेगा, so no matter how much developed your infrastructure is, efficient service delivery cannot be ensured. So when it says how serious is the issue, तो बताओ political seriousness, administrative seriousness, economic seriousness, social seriousness, then your answer is completed. तो अब हमें क्योंकि ये मुद्दे पे सवाल है, तो way forward देना जरूरी है. Is it making sense for everyone? एक second. Just give me 1 minute. What is regional disparity? What is diversity? But एक last line देनी जरूरी है क्योंकि उन्होंने पूछा how disparity differs from diversity. So that is my last observation. Diversity is about variety and richness. Disparity is focusing more on inequality and imbalance. Once I'm done with this seriousness of the disparity, you have economic disparity, you have infrastructural disparity, not only infrastructure with respect to roads, health and education, urban-rural divide, within the state, sub-regionalism. But we'll not stop here. How serious is the issue? Political consequences, economic consequences, social consequences. So finally, India has made efforts to address these issues. You can mention some of the government efforts which have been made. However, if the structural issue and uneven implementation is not addressed, the problem will continue to persist. Is it making sense for everyone? It's a 15 marker. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं लिखा है जो आप लिख नहीं सकते. In fact, एक term मैं यहाँ पे डालना चाहती थी, that is virtuous cycle versus vicious cycle. ये जो gap है ना, ये बढ़ता जाता है. ये region developed है. डेवलप्ड है तो ये और इन्वेस्टमेंट को अट्रैक्ट कर रहा है. दिस इज फर्दर डेवलपिंग. तो ये वर्चुअस साइकिल बन रही है. ये रीजन डेवलप्ड नहीं है एंड एज अ रिजल्ट इट इज फर्दर गेटिंग ट्रैप्ड इन द वेब ऑफ अंडर डेवलपमेंट. दिस इज नथिंग बट विशियस साइकिल. द गैप बिटवीन द रीजन्स आर इंक्रीजिंग एंड इफ दैट हैपेंस इट हैज पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक, सोशल implication. Are the points clear for everyone? Can you answer these topics you were asking? नहीं.
तो क्या वो जो कल्चरल डाइवर्सिटी और सोशियो इकोनॉमिक मार्जिनलिटी का क्वेश्चन था उसके अंदर है?
Yes. There we will address that.
अच्छा.
या नहीं लिखेंगे, नहीं तो रायता फैल जाएगा, समेट नहीं पाएंगे.
कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म,
हाँ हाँ,
ये वाला एंगल इसमें डायमेंशन मिसिंग लगा.
See, if you add, it would not be wrong, but it is asked in GS paper 1. Let's not add unnecessary. See, the question if is asked in a certain paper, that means the paper setter is expecting answer from certain perspective. That's the only thing. Okay. Hanji. Next question. Somebody was asking me something. आप तब तक ये question पढ़ो. Somebody was asking. हाँ.
Can it be said that in an extreme level it can lead to civil war?
हाँ, बिल्कुल लिख सकते हो. लिख लो. लिखने में कोई बुराई नहीं है, बस एग्जाम्पल दे देना. ठीक. Despite comprehensive policies for equity and social justice, underprivileged sections are not yet getting the full benefits of affirmative action envisaged by the Constitution comment. Again, this is a question for GS paper 2, but asked in GS paper 1. Trust me, this is easier to answer. सपोज करो वो ऑफन कैसे पूछते थे विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू ट्राइबल्स. उन्होंने पूछा ना व्हाट आर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू वेलफेयर ऑफ द ट्राइबल्स. द नेक्स्ट ईयर दे आस्क्ड व्हाट आर द लीगल प्रोविजंस विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द वेलफेयर एंड एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ ट्राइबल्स. दैट्स अ वेरी स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन. देखो यहाँ पे कोई स्पेसिफिसिटी नहीं है एंड इट्स फ्रॉम योर सिलेबस. सिलेबस में एक टॉपिक है ना सोशल एम्पावरमेंट. सो इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट इक्विटी एंड सोशल जस्टिस. यहां पे देखा जाए तो सिंपल आंसर है, इसको छोड़ो, क्वेश्चन को रीफ्रेम करते हैं दिमाग में. डिस्पाइट गवर्नमेंट एफर्ट्स, द एम्पावरमेंट ऑफ मार्जिनलाइज्ड सेक्शंस इज स्टिल अ डिस्टेंट रियलिटी. तो अब आपको बताना है हु आर मार्जिनलाइज्ड, व्हाट आर द गवर्नमेंट एफर्ट्स, व्हाट आर द लैक्यूनाज इन दोस एफर्ट्स, व्हाट नीड्स टू बी डन. अब क्वेश्चन आसान हो गया. आप कोई भी मार्जिनलाइज सेक्शन पढ़ते हो, आप कैसे पढ़ते हो? उनकी प्रॉब्लम्स, गवर्नमेंट एफर्ट्स, लैक्यूनाज, वे फॉरवर्ड. वही तो क्वेश्चन है. द गुड थिंग इज दे हैव नॉट आस्क्ड यू वन स्पेसिफिक सेक्शन, दे आर इन जनरल asking you the question. So we can start with what are the constitutional provisions with respect to ensuring equity and social justice. ठीक है. So in order to provide those opportunities, government has taken certain initiative. फिर डायग्राम डाल दो. अब डायग्राम ये कैसे बनते हैं आपको याद है? हम बात करते हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजन, वी टॉक अबाउट पॉलिसीज, वी टॉक अबाउट स्टैट्यूटरी प्रोविजन, वी टॉक अबाउट एजेंसीज. तो वो कमीशंस हो गए. हम इन्हीं हेडिंग्स में पढ़ते हैं, चाहे वो चाइल्ड हो, पर्सन विद डिसेबिलिटी हो, दलित हो, ट्राइब्स हो, विमेन हो. दिस इज हाउ यू प्रिपेयर. दीज आर नथिंग बट गवर्नमेंट एफर्ट्स. अब आप मुझे आंसर दो. डिस्पाइट दीज गवर्नमेंट एफर्ट्स, why social justice and equity is not being ensured? What are the lacunas? One by one, raise your hand and give me the lacunas. Corruption, okay. Bureaucratic apathy कह लेते हैं, misappropriation of funds कह लेते हैं, lack of accountability, सब कुछ एक जगह डाल देते हैं. We'll take this point. What else? Lack of awareness कि ये provisions उनके लिए available हैं. ठीक है, we'll take this point. हाँ जी. I'm sorry, मुझे कुछ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. They are usurping all the benefits. Absolutely brilliant. Class within community concept. चाहे वो caste हो, चाहे वो tribes हो. Certain sections are usurping or cornering all the benefits. So which has further widened the divide. और कोई point? रेड टेप यार इसी में आ जाएगा. करप्शन, रेड टेपिज्म, मिसअप्रोप्रिएशन ऑफ फंड, वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव वालों को एक जगह कर देते हैं. ठीक है, तो वो एक जगह पॉइंट आ गया. तभी मैं कहती हूं हमेशा हेडिंग बनाया करो, क्योंकि फिर क्या होगा ना, जो पॉइंट्स दे रहे होगे वो लगेंगे तो इतने सारे, बट दे आर मोस्टली रिलेटेड टू द सेम थिंग. तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव इनएफिशिएंसी या लैक्सिटी ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कर दो और उसमें ये सारे पॉइंट्स डाल दो. और कुछ सोशल पैथोलॉजीज इन द सोसाइटी, चाहे वो स्टिग्मा हो, चाहे वो प्रेजुडिसेस हो, पेट्रियार्की हो, कास्टिज्म हो. ब्रिलियंट, वी कैन यूज दिस पॉइंट. व्हाट एल्स? The people, they are not working themselves, they are taking those benefits as granted. Absolutely yes. Passive recipient of the benefits rather than actively participating. We'll take that point. Anyone else?
One size fits all, like
absolutely yes, one size fit all approach. So very centralized, top down, inclusion exclusion errors, all those points can be written. यही आंसर है. बताओ, तुम लोग इतने इंटेलिजेंट हो, मेंस रेडी हो तुम लोग तो. So there are implementation gaps, bureaucratic inefficiency, corruption, lack of accountability, social exclusion and stigma. Still the benefits are available. लेकिन आपने वो न्यूज़ सुनी होगी ना, casteism exist करता है. The children from lower caste are not allowed to sit with the children of upper caste. Sometimes there is a prejudiced attitude. In fact, मैं क्लास में एक सर्वे भी बताती हूँ, National Sample Survey Organization, which said many a times the dropout rate among the SC/ST children is very high, and that is because of the prejudiced attitude of the education system. Then economic disparity, किसी ने बोला था ना, benefits has been cornered, तो आप Justice रोहिणी पैनल की रिपोर्ट भी लिख सकते हो, that 1% of OBC have cornered the 50% of benefits, whereas 20% has not received even a single benefit. So the concept of creamy layer. Then we can talk about the barriers in effective representation. One of the reason is higher rung jobs में the people from the marginalized sections are not represented. And I clearly remember हम बात करते हैं जब women पढ़ते हैं तो हम बात करते हैं कि एक Deloitte study आई थी जिसमें 4.7% of the CEOs are only women in India. Remaining all are men. Similarly, women's representation with respect to parliament or lawmaking body or the representation of SC, ST in higher rung of jobs. जो डेटा याद आए, क्योंकि ये तो marginalized section पे है, आपको women का डेटा याद हो, ट्रांसजेंडर का याद हो, आपको SC, ST का डेटा याद हो, जो डेटा हो कोई भी एक डेटा लिख दो. Then somebody talked about social pathologies. So you have patriarchy, you also have social attitude and stigma. Then healthcare access आप अलग से लिखना चाहो तो लिख सकते हो, that's totally your call. Remember health, education, that remains an important point. Once we have done this, then finally in this question you have to suggest the way forward. कि subcategorization is the need of the hour. You have to promote social inclusion. You have to strengthen the implementation. You have to correct the stereotypes and prejudices which are existing. You have to provide skill development, vocational training. कहने का तात्पर्य जो मन में आए, क्योंकि ये क्वेश्चन नहीं है. 2-3 वे फॉरवर्ड जो आपके मन में आए. तो बेसिकली जो चैलेंजेस आपने लिखे हैं रिलेटेड टू दैट, सम 2-3 वे फॉरवर्ड्स कैन बी रिटन इन ऑर्डर टू सम अप योर आंसर और टू कंक्लूड योर आंसर. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस? Is this question clear for everyone? ठीक है. Next. Okay, this is an interesting question. Globalization has increased urban migration by skilled, young, unmarried women from various classes. Full stop. How has this trend impacted upon their personal freedom and relationship with family? पहले स्टेटमेंट का कुछ करना है. उस स्टेटमेंट के बाद कोई भी कीवर्ड नहीं है, टेल वर्ड नहीं है, कमेंट नहीं है, डिस्कस नहीं है, एलैबोरेट नहीं है. उस स्टेटमेंट को गिवन ट्रू मानो एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट स्टेटमेंट यू हैव टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन. इस स्टेटमेंट को शुरू कैसे कर सकते हैं? हाउ वुड यू लाइक टू इंट्रोड्यूस सच क्वेश्चन? बेस्ड ऑन डेटा? You will not find much data. Mostly the migration which is taking place, and if it is women specific migration, because there is feminization of migration, the reason is marriage. But the question is about, तो डेटा ना देना, डेटा गलत हो जाएगा, कॉन्टेक्स्ट देना. सो यहाँ पर आपको प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड यूज करना. प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड क्या, आपके पास है ही नहीं डेटा तो लिखोगे क्या? सो द पॉइंट हियर इज कि जब जो है ही नहीं तो वो लिखेंगे क्या? सो इट इज ऑलवेज एडवाइजेबल इन सच केसेस टॉक अबाउट द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. कॉन्टेक्स्ट यहाँ पे यही है, हाउ ग्लोबलाइजेशन हैज क्रिएटेड अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर एम्पावरमेंट, एंड दैट्स द रीजन. ग्लोबलाइजेशन रिजल्ट्स इनटू अर्बनाइजेशन. Urbanization is characterized by urbanism. Urbanism talks about heterogeneity, anonymity, individualism, better prospect for education and economic empowerment. These situation has created ground for educated, young, skilled, unmarried women to move to urban area. और ये सारी चीज हम क्लास में पढ़ते हैं. बस अब आपको अपनी बॉडी ऑफ द क्वेश्चन को 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करना है. द फर्स्ट इज हाउ इट इंपैक्ट्स द पर्सनल फ्रीडम एंड सेकेंड हाउ इट इंपैक्ट्स द फैमिली रिलेशनशिप. अब बताओ, आंसर दे दो जल्दी से. अच्छा, यहां से शुरू नहीं करेंगे. पहली चीज है हाउ इट इज इंपैक्टिंग योर पर्सनल फ्रीडम. सो वी हैव टू टॉक. हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. फाइनेंशियल इंडिपेंडेंस हो गया, और कुछ Absolutely. So autonomy with respect to choice of partner, that can be one of the point. What else? हाँ ठीक है, so वो उसी में आ जाएगा यार, ठीक. So और कुछ देखो, मैं बताती हूँ, आप लोग फिर एक गलती कर रहे हो. आप जब पॉइंट सोचने बैठते हो ना, आप लिटरली पॉइंट सोचते हो, आप हेडिंग क्यों नहीं सोचते? पर्सनल फ्रीडम में इकोनॉमिक फ्रीडम हो सकता है, सोशल फ्रीडम हो सकता है, कल्चरल फ्रीडम हो सकता है, फ्रीडम विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू आइडेंटिटी हो सकता है, फ्रीडम विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू स्टेटस हो सकता है, बोथ इन द सोसाइटी एज वेल एज फैमिली. आप हेडिंग सोचो, आंसर अपने आप आ जाएगा. सोशल, पॉलिटिकल, इकोनॉमिक, कल्चरल फ्रीडम. अब जो पॉइंट्स दे रहे हो वो इसी की हेडिंग में आ जाएंगे. हेडिंग मत लिखो, but at least think about the heading in your subconscious mind. Writing the points becomes easier. Is it making sense for everyone? हाँ, somebody was giving me some more points. हाँ बिल्कुल, there is more awareness. You can actually invest your earning on your own lifestyle, on your betterment, whether it is health, education, mental health. Absolutely, we can talk about this. Anything else? एब्सोल्युटली. आप इनफैक्ट फैमिली से अगर रिलेशनशिप की बात करते हैं तो यहाँ पे आप दोनों से बात कर सकते हो कि फैमिली रिलेशनशिप्स इंप्रूव भी होते हैं एंड समवेयर कल्चरल क्लैश भी आता है. फैमिली रिलेशनशिप्स कैसे इंप्रूव हो सकते हैं? फैमिली डज टेक प्राइड if the daughters are doing well, but then there is a constant anxiety because ultimately the objective is to get married and give birth to a male child. We are still in patriarchal society, so I hope the sarcasm is understood. इसको literal sense में नहीं ले लेना, लेकिन ये लिखना है, ठीक है? So there is always that kind of ambiguity which exists. On the other hand, you are challenging the hierarchy. In fact, I remember हम family जब पढ़ते हैं हम एक statement लिखते हैं that sex and age are the main ordering principle of family hierarchy. Eldest male, maximum power, youngest female, least power. But when women becomes empowered, she has access to education, she has access to economic growth and opportunity. She is able to break this hierarchy. So the dynamics within the family changes. The status of girl in the family improves. But at the same time, it again creates a situation of clash because you expect gender stereotype. You expect your girls to be submissive, docile. They are observing what is known as familial piety, so which they are not doing. So then there is a situation of cultural clash. तो जो भी points लिखो उसमें both the side of the coin लिखना है, how it is improving and how it is declining, and then we can give the follow-up argument. Is that clear? Let's quickly have a look. Globalization has cultivated service-oriented urban economies, which is providing you opportunities in different sectors, because of which it is attracting young women to migrate to urban areas to get access to economic as well as educational programs. ये लिखने की बजाय I would have anyway prefer globalization, urbanization, urbanism, characteristic feature of urbanism, which is attracting young women to migrate. That is easier to remember. Then patriarchal bargain would be challenged. You want to say that? नहीं यार, patriarchal bargain favor of women में नहीं होता, वो तो concept ही change हो जाएगा. Patriarchal bargain का concept would be challenged because now women is fighting for her rights rather than agreeing or striking a bargain. वो अब bargain कहाँ strike कर रही है? She would be more empowered. ठीक है ना? हाँ बिल्कुल लिख सकते हैं. But here, if you talk about, there would be a pressure for dual burden. यहाँ पे clash आएगा. She wants to work outside, but there would be a pressure for dual burden, and it is not just in the marital state. Even prior to marriage also, women is expected to perform the domestic chores. हाँ. Individual migration की बात हो रही है. डुअल बर्डन हो सकता है यार, एक एक्सपेक्टेशन तो होती है ना कि whenever you are there you are doing the household chores. That is always a matter of concern. कि they would not be knowing how to perform that dual burden. So that is, ठीक है. So now there would be higher autonomy, freedom of opportunity and growth, financial independence, freedom to choose a life partner, the overall purpose, the chances of intercaste marriages are very high in context of urban women. Then you are breaking the traditional gender roles. Urban anonymity, I told you urbanism, it is characterized by urban anonymity, and because of which you would not be put under that scrutiny of kinship network. अगर आप अपने एरिया में रहते हो, अरे यार ये तो मतलब आपको अपना एक्सपीरियंस लिखना है इस आंसर में. The girls just have to write. अगर आप अपने एरिया में होते हो, everyone knows everyone. If you belong to a small town or a small city, so आप कहीं पे भी जाओ. जैसे I still, guys, just to relax, ठीक है? तो फिर एक स्टैंड-अप कॉमेडी की एक वीडियो आई, तो उन्होंने बोला कि रिश्तेदार कभी कभी आपके बारे में तुरंत बता देते हैं. तो उन्होंने हमारे घर फोन करके बोल दिया कि आजकल आपकी लड़की बाइक पे अलग अलग लड़कों के साथ घूम रही है. उनको समझ नहीं आया वो रैपिडो की फैसिलिटी थी जो वो अवेल कर रही थी. So sometimes I feel these stand-up comics make so much sense. That is so relevant because they're just talking about the society. So what we are saying, in urban area किसी को मतलब ही नहीं है कि तुम वाकई ही अलग अलग लड़कों के साथ हो या रैपिडो की फैसिलिटी ले रही हो. So the point here is it is anonymity. नहीं, on a very serious note, it is anonymity. Are you understanding what we are trying to say? तो वो जो एक constant scrutiny होती है ना, कहाँ जा रही है, कहाँ क्या काम कर रही है, कब तक, वो जो constant scrutiny है, that is not there. और इसको इसी lighter note में लेंगे, इनको उन पॉइंट के साथ नहीं लेंगे कि फिर वो सेफ्टी सिक्योरिटी वो अलग मुद्दा है, इस क्वेश्चन में नहीं आ रहा है अभी. इज इट मेकिंग सेंस फॉर एवरीवन? देन फॉर्मेशन ऑफ कॉस्मोपॉलिटन आइडेंटिटी, ये एक इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है. हम जब भी फैमिली पढ़ते हैं या विमेन पढ़ते हैं, हम हमेशा कहते हैं कि विमेन डज नॉट हैव एन इंडिविजुअल आइडेंटिटी. हर आइडेंटिटी इज ट्रेस्ड बेस्ड ऑन द फैमिली शी बिलोंग्स टू. सो यू विल नेवर लिसन अबाउट विमेन, शी विल ऑलवेज बी अपर कास्ट, लोअर कास्ट, tribal, or belonging to a particular ethnicity or religion. So women herself doesn't have that identity. But when she comes to urban area, it is driven by cosmopolitan identity. So she is given that opportunity to shape her identity, which is separated from what is the identity from the family. तो वो भी एक freedom का manifestation है. So again, you can use these concepts to write the answer. Then impact on relationship with the family. So usually we have to talk about, अच्छा एक चीज का ध्यान रखेंगे, यहाँ पे अगर normally relationship with family होती है तो हम बात करते हैं relationship with the spouse, relationship with the children, relationship with the parents and extended family. But she is unmarried in the question. So now we will be talking about only two types, one with the parents and second with the extended family. Then you can talk about the positive impact or the negative impact. जरूरी नहीं है ये सारे divisions आप आंसर में लिखो. Create that in your subconscious mind and start writing the points. Points अपने आप आ जाएंगे, आप करके देखना. Always try to create the templates. Writing the answer becomes easier. So separation and distance आएगा relationship में. वो out of sight, out of mind वाली बात हो जाती है. कभी कभी क्या होता है, बहुत बहुत दिनों तक बात नहीं हो पाती, तो एक तरह से इमोशनल बॉन्ड अटैचमेंट जो होता है सबके साथ नहीं होता, बट देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी. Change in family dynamics, we have already talked about. Cultural clash, we have already discussed. Evolving relationship with parents, where on one hand they are really proud of you, but then there is a constant pressure, anxiety, क्योंकि सब पूछ रहे हैं शर्मा जी शादी कब कर रहे हो लड़की की. So that constant pressure is always there. And more educated, empowered girl, chance, again, discourage नहीं कर रहे, सिर्फ observation बता रहे हैं. Chances to find a decent partner becomes all the more challenging because ultimately it's a patriarchal society. but इसका कतई मतलब नहीं है कि एजुकेशन ना सीख करिए और एम्पावर ना हो. ठीक है, आप वो जरूर करिए. दैट इज द फर्स्ट थिंग विच नीड्स टू बी डन. एंड फाइनली कंक्लूड. तारीफ कर दो, ग्लोबलाइजेशन, अर्बनाइजेशन ने बहुत एम्पावर किया है, फ्रीडम की अपॉर्चुनिटी दी है. ठीक है, तो वो लिखकर ओवरऑल इन्फ्रेंस टू बी वेरी प्रिसाइज. ठीक, विल टेक द लास्ट क्वेश्चन. Critically analyze the proposition that there is high correlation between India's cultural diversity and socio-economic marginalities. If you ask me, they have actually defined critical analysis का मतलब only. Critical analyze keyword का मतलब ही यही होता है that you have to establish a correlation between the main topics. So if the question is critically analyze, You first define the topics. What is cultural diversity? What do you mean by socio-economic marginality? Then you establish a correlation कि कैसे cultural diversity leads to marginality, and then you give a reverse argument where cultural diversity not always contributes to marginality, and then you can write a concluding remark. Is it making sense for everyone? ठीक है? So let's start with this. Just define India's cultural diversity. ये आप इतनी बार पढ़ते हो, India is linguistically diverse, religiously diverse, ethnically diverse, geographically diverse. So India characterized by rich tapestry of these diversities. But always remember, since diversity is a very close component of our identity, ये जो basis of diversity है, it is always a source of conflict as well as cohesion in the society. So many a times the cultural diversity may create the problem of governance challenges or social cohesion in the society. At the same time, what do you mean by socio-economic marginality? तो in context of India अगर हम बात करें तो एक concept मैं बहुत बार बात करती हूँ intersectionality की. Caste, class, gender, ethnicity. These are often linked with socio-economic marginality. So India, it is often linked. For example, the chances of lower caste or marginalized section not having proper access to basic resources and being trapped in poverty is very high. So that means there exists a correlation. अब जब हमें बात करनी है तो correlation establish करते वक्त you just remember broad diversity कौन सी है? Religious, language, caste, ethnicity या फिर tribe. चारों पार्ट्स में दिखा दो कैसे सोशो इकोनॉमिक मार्जिनलाइजेशन इज देयर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल रिलीजियस डिस्क्रिमिनेशन, सच्चर कमेटी की रिपोर्ट डाल सकते हैं. Religious minorities, it has already proven they are backward as compared to others. Similarly, with respect to linguistic barriers, अब अगर आपने language as a basis of diversity पढ़ा है, you would be knowing that हमारा linguistic reorganization of states हुआ था. How many states were created? 14 states and 6 centrally administered territory. What is the status or extent of linguistic diversity in India? 125 major languages and 1652 dialects which are spoken. So even after linguistic reorganization of states, within one state, there are multiple languages which are spoken. And often it happens that education, jobs, they are not being provided in the language which you speak. So it creates what is known as communication barrier. इसीलिए आज भी linguistic demand for separate state is still existing, because language is an essential component when it comes down to your livelihood as well as your culture. Is it making sense for everyone? यहाँ तक clear हुआ? ठीक. Third is caste-based exclusion. Caste-based exclusion तो सभी को पता है. If you talk about All India Survey for Higher Education, gross enrollment rate among SCs is low as compared to the national average, or the rate of dropouts among the SC students is high as compared to others. So somewhere caste-based exclusion is existing. Similarly, with respect to tribal alienation. So whether it is dilution of their culture, whether it is their literacy, whether it is their health, or it is development-led displacement, there exists marginalization, and these are nothing but how there exists a correlation between cultural diversity and socio-economic marginality. Is it making sense? But then there is a flip side. It is the same diversity which can actually act as a source of income generation. For example, tourism. For example, economic growth. For example, placing the youth of India at an advantageous position because there is multilingual capacity. So that is how you have to show that not all this diversity or the minority groups are on the other side of the spectrum. There are some who are doing well. For example, with respect to religious minority also, there are some communities which are faring well. For example, Jain. For example, Parsis, they have shown a considerable economic growth. Similarly, with respect to the competitive advantage, if you are multilingual. Similarly, we can talk about the government initiatives which have been taken, for example, to ensure the welfare of these sections of the society, or religious tourism as an economic driver. अब यहाँ पे आपको जितने points लिखने हैं आप add कर दो. For example, वो हम Great Hornbill Festival of Nagaland, how it generates the potential for economic growth and tourism. Similarly, the pilgrimage site. Similarly, there are some states which are actually doing well because of this diverse culture and tourism. Handicraft and cultural industry. So how it is contributed? This diversity per se is not a threat. Only when it is misused by the fringe elements that it becomes the basis of discontentment in the society. So diversity per se is not responsible for socio-economic disparity. But yes, having said that, there exists a correlation. Is it making sense for everyone? Are the answers clear? Are the writing portion clear for everyone? How we are supposed to write the answers? Just remember one thing. Whatever you discuss, you study. One last observation. When we are studying society, ठीक है, जब भी जहाँ से भी पढ़ते हो या classroom के हो, finish your society. Once it is done, you have practiced all the answer writing. Then whenever you revise society, revise it at one go. Revise society, revise social justice in one go, let us say 5 to 7 days, and then appear for a test. क्योंकि कभी कभी क्वेश्चन का आंसर पहले लेक्चर से जुड़ा हुआ होगा. Some points you will get from the last lecture, somewhere it would be given. So until and unless society cannot be prepared in silos, there has to be an integrated effort. But one observation you have to tell me, were the questions doable? Were you understanding the demand of the question? Have you understood the importance of structuring the answer? Did you understand how to incorporate examples and diagrams? So, is this a possibility that you can answer these questions? अब ये discussion के बाद ये upload हो जाएगा वो, that's not important. What is important is when you go back home, अगर आपके पास time हो, because you guys are very busy. So whenever you get time, I would advise that when you attend the discussion, within a day or two, attempt the questions on your own. जितनी knowledge है, जितना पढ़ा है, based on that, try to attempt the questions on your own. There is no model answer, there is no best answer. You just have to write an answer which is contextually correct, which is answering all the subparts, and it is not wrong, and it is well substantiated. That's it. कोई model answer नहीं होता. तो ये आंसर भी ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको यही लिखना है और ऐसे ही लिखना है. You can think about something else, but try to attempt the questions. ठीक है? So on this note, I conclude the discussion from my side. Now we can take 5 minutes break and then geography faculty will join us. ठीक है?